months ago under the stock ticker NUTR. It was incorporated in the state of Nevada in May 2023, and currently roughly 19 million shares are outstanding. Market capitalization is 175 million. The latest traded stock price was $9, although the shares have been suspended from trading for the better part of the last 6 weeks. We'll talk about that at the Q&A. Share price has gone from $3.40 all the way to $10 over the last 52 weeks. We're Jakarta based for those people that are geographically challenged. That's in Indonesia and Southeast Asia. We're an IATA licensed online travel agency. We were founded in 2013. We offer, we think, world-class products and services. And we promote Southeast Asia and APAC to travelers regionally and, of course, globally. We're headquartered in Indonesia, but we have offices in Bali, Beijing, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, Hong Kong, and then, of course, Singapore. These are our achievements. Again, we started business in January 2013. Very quickly, after Society Pass, a company that I founded, acquired that in August of 2022, 3 years ago. Since that time, the company has grown very, very quickly. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. The management team is managed by Anson Neo, as well as Ray Liang. Our CFO is Tani Xiong and Yubing Ling. All 4 gentlemen are based in Asia. Southeast Asia's market is booming, really booming. In fact, year-on-year travel industry revenues have gone up 65% from 2023. Effectively, we're pre-COVID levels of $54 billion. We expect that to hit to $70 billion next year. It's probably the most important slide in the entire presentation, so for those that actually are listening, please listen. In June 2024, we recorded $1.2 million in gross sales. 15 months later, that jumped to close to $40 million in gross sales. And if you look at the first 9 months financials for this year, you have seen year-on-year growth of close to 600%. We had $60 million in gross sales in 2024. This year, we're guiding our research analysts, the people that have been covering us, to over $350 million in gross sales. Okay? You're going to ask the question, why? 2 reasons. Back in June 2024, we pivoted from being a B2C focused travel platform, i.e. selling directly to individual customers as yourselves, to start being a B2B travel platform. So we sold to the B2C platforms that were selling to individual customers. And you ask yourself, how did we do that? Well, we were able to buy directly from suppliers and then sell them to B2C platforms. By doing that, we were able to really jump our revenues, and you could see that in the succeeding 6 months. Okay, but then if you looked at in December 2024, we were generating $15 million in gross sales, and 7-8 months later, that jumped from $15 million gross sales to close to $40 million in gross sales. So you ask yourself the question, how did that happen? Well, at the end of 2024, the company replaced most of its technology team that was currently based in Indonesia at that time to a team that we hired that was based in Beijing. By doing so, we replaced our legacy software. Doing so, we then were able to jump from literally 1,000 ticket sales a day to now we're averaging over 20,000 tickets a day. Okay, and so that allowed a dramatic, the funnel, if you would say, basically opened. So by doing that, that's where our revenue growth has gone. In fact, for this year, we're guiding the market that we will be profitable on both operating as well as net income levels. You can see the transformation of the business up until 2020, COVID. It was effectively a B2C travel platform. In 2020, 2021, we started bringing in B2B revenues. And of course, at the end of 2024, that dramatically jumped. And now we're basically, for the entire year, almost 95% B2B. We're a flight reseller. In fact, we are the largest B2B travel platform in Southeast Asia, selling to in the LCC market. For those people that don't know what LCC stands for, it stands for low-cost carriers. In this country, we call them budget carriers. Okay, there's roughly 50 of them in Southeast Asia, and we are the dominant seller of LCC tickets in Southeast Asia. In fact, the biggest B2C platform in Southeast Asia today is Agoda. Agoda is Booking.com in Southeast Asia. On any given day, we'll sell roughly 60 to 65% of Agoda's daily sales in the LCC space. We're effectively a bridge between our B2B suppliers and international customers. You see our business model. We sit very nicely right there. We have the suppliers that come in, and these are very capital-rich companies that come in and buy inventory, right? Inventory of flights directly from the LCCs themselves. In turn, they sell that inventory to us, and then of course we pass it on to and sell to B2C platforms. Revenue models, you can see it's we take the supply at a cost that we buy from the suppliers, and then we sell it at a margin. That margin, people are always asking me, what is that margin, Dennis? That margin depends on the supplier, depends on the airline, but it generally will range somewhere between 0.5 to 1% revenue commission, roughly speaking. Because we are a B2B focused platform, that means we don't really spend a lot of money in marketing. If you look at our financials, you'll see we spend very little on marketing, okay? Having said that, we are very active on Instagram. You can, and I encourage you to, download our app right now if you want, whether it's iPhone or Google, off of the internet. And you could see we have a very clean presentation of how we present our deals and our platform in both social media as well as through the app. We're also a hotel reseller. We actually have directly sell 1,500 hotels, mostly in Indonesia and Thailand, on our platform. In addition to that, via partnerships, we're about to announce we have signed up a partnership with, and are about to announce that partnership with Agoda. We have a long-standing flights partnership with Agoda that has lasted over a decade. We're now taking that flights partnership to expand it to hotels. And with that hotels, we believe that in 2026, we're gonna see a further jump in revenues. Our hotel business, again, there's two ways to do it, but at the end of the day, we buy it at a cost, add a little bit of a margin on it, and whether that's through our B2C platform. Again, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, we're relatively active on social media. Our AI platform we finished the development of that AI platform. And in fact, we'll be launching it and announcing that launch sometime in the next month. What the AI platform will do is it's basically gonna allow customer service to be done 24/7. In Jakarta, customer service, real people, have generally been working from 8 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night. So if you have a customer service issue during that time, life's great. Unfortunately, if you're buying that ticket from in the United States or in Europe, you're most likely going to be out of luck because, by the way, if you're buying that ticket during the day in the United States or Europe, we're sleeping in Asia. And so from 11 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning, no one's there to service your request. So that leads to obviously some angst amongst people. And sometimes, not too infrequently, it leads to lost sales. So what we've done with our AI is now, if you are in Europe or Asia, or in Europe and the United States, if you do have a customer service issue, our AI platform will take care of it. We're actually very, very excited about the launch of this AI platform. Our target mix, currently, we're, like I said, 92% B2B versus 8 to 10% B2C. In a perfect world, we'd like to get that to roughly 80% B2B, 20% B2C. You're gonna ask the question, why? B2C, the margins are actually higher. So to give you an example, with our B2B net revenues, we're generally will generate 0.5 to 1.5% gross commission. With our B2C revenue margins, that jumps from 1% to 2%. Currently, our LCC versus FSC, full service carriers, is roughly 90% to 10%. In a perfect world, we'd like to get that to 75 to 25%. Again, the answer is because margins are higher in selling full service carriers tickets. And then finally, our hotel business is almost non-existent. It's probably 2% of our sales today, okay? We'd love to get that to 40% of our business. And you're gonna see the answer is always gonna be the margins are higher. But in this particular case, the margins are dramatically higher. In fact, if the hotel's B2B revenue commission is 3 to 4 to 5%, in the B2C one, you're looking at 5 to 15%. So profit and loss, you've seen this is gross revenues, and then you've seen the EBITDA. I note that the third quarter EBITDA is negative because that's when we IPO'd. And then as a result, we recognize a lot of the expenses in that quarter. But operationally, we're guiding the market to full year profitability for the company. It's never been profitable in its entire existence. So we're very happy that this is happening. As you see in the second quarter, we were profitable in the second quarter, and I expect the fourth quarter to be showing some very nice profits for the fourth quarter. Balance sheet, we're roughly 10 million or so shareholders' equity. With the profit coming in for the fourth quarter, I expect that to be a little bit higher, but we're roughly around 10 million in book value. And so with that, that's the presentation. I'm happy to answer questions that anyone may have. Please.
You mentioned the shares currently aren't traded. Is that correct? Can you provide some color on?
Yeah. So in the day before the federal government shut down, we were sent a letter from the SEC saying that there's going to be a 2-week suspension on that because apparently we were lumped in with roughly 10, 12 other companies, also out of Asia, that have received a lot of very positive social media coverage. And so we received that. Nothing else was sent to us. Subsequently, at the end of those 2 weeks, NASDAQ then followed up with a question to us and asked essentially the same question. And through our lawyers, Loeb and Loeb, we have responded to the NASDAQ in our first round of questions at the end of October where we effectively just said, we don't know um, the root of all this positive stuff. And we have not coordinated or done anything of that sort with any people or groups of people for such positive social media coverage. NASDAQ then subsequently sent us a second round of questions in early November, which we responded immediately thereafter. And they did drill down on some financial questions that they had. We answered them. And since that time, it's now been 3 weeks since the last since we reverted to them, they have not come back. And that's all I really can, that's all we know, and that's all I mean, it's not only, I'd love to tell you more, but that's all I know. My understanding is we will be reaching out, we're gonna be proactively reaching out to NASDAQ, the management team is, and hopefully get some sort of resolution on this. But again, we don't know what the major, why they're suspended our share trading.
Gotcha. And then just a quick follow-up. Just curious, I know you sell primarily to other businesses, but where are the majority of your end users, the travelers, located at geographically?
Yeah. So I'd say most of the travelers are based within Asia. A lot of them are coming from China, Japan, into Southeast Asia. But a significant proportion of our end users are actually from outside of Asia, and it's Europe and the United States. And so that percentage varies on a given day, but it's somewhere around 15 to 30% on any given day is actually outside of Asia.
And just a quick follow-up, could you just lay out the timeline or the process of growing that hotel revenue, kind of the barriers that are in place, and
Yeah.
you know,
So, big believer in walking before you run. So B2C is inherently expensive. It's marketing, by the way. So we're going to very much focus on building out the B2B space in hotels. We've proven that we're the dominant B2B travel platform in the LCC space and flights, full stop. What we want to do now, and that's pretty much because of our ability to take the margins down a little bit. And as a result, the B2C platforms buy from us a lot more than, for example, other suppliers. I want to do the same thing. We want to do the same thing with our hotels business. So whatever they're buying at, we want to take that margin down a tiny bit. We have like I said, how this will drive this is because we have a very long-standing relationship with Agoda, Booking.com in Southeast Asia. That's the 800-pound gorilla in Southeast Asia. So we want to expand that very successful decade-long partnership in flights with them to now expand in hotels. I expect revenues, we launched this in a few weeks ago. I expect to see material growth in revenues from hotels already in the fourth quarter. We're seeing some good traffic. And then by the time the first quarter comes by, we really will see a jump on that.
I do have a
Please.
follow-up as far as demand for travel in Southeast Asia, and what you're seeing as far as the cost of the supply that you're purchasing from the suppliers. And just curious what you're seeing there.
Yeah. What drives this is that the LCCs, the low-cost carriers, are undercapitalized. Across the board, everywhere in the world, they're undercapitalized, by the way. And so if you're a supplier, you go to them and say, look, I'll buy $20 million in inventory from you from April 2nd to April 10th. They're going to say pretty much yes. And so you're going to negotiate a margin discount. That, by the way, that margin discount depends on the airlines. It's going to be somewhere between 3 to 6% off of the rack price that they've sold previously to other people. Well, if you're the supplier, you're going to take that, then you're going to sell it to someone like me. They're going to make their 3%. They're going to sell it to me at 2%. I turn around because I now know I have a 2% margin, I turn around and play around with the margins. Now, why have we been successful? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the secret sauce in budget airlines. The next time you take Frontier Airlines or Spirit or whatever it is here in this country, if you want to take a 50-pound luggage with you, by the way, that's going to cost you $60. By the way,
Right.
okay? That's how we make money, is because when you take the LCC flights, everyone thinks it's cheap, which it is, the nominal value. But please only travel with your backpack. Because you do anything beyond that, we charge so much money on changing your seats, on canceling your flights, on luggage. That's how our margins really, we sometimes sell the tickets to the B2C platforms at almost zero margin. But we know, because we have an algorithm, to this gentleman, we have an algorithm, we know with a certain probability that we will make it up through luggage, seat confirmations, and ticket cancellations. And so that's why we've been able to grow 600% year on year.
Can you talk a little bit about the competitive landscape in Asia? Because it seemed like over the last 7 years that travel services have actually exited the market for some reason. I just wanted to know why the competitive landscape seems to have gotten less so over the years. I'm just trying to understand the market.
Yeah. I can't comment on 7 years ago. What I can comment on is since 2 years since COVID, the market's done this. Okay, you came in a little bit late, bad boy. But I had a slide in there that kind of showed you the last 2 years, 65% year-on-year increase from 2023 to 2024, and another significant increase from 2024 to 2025. So that's off of a rebound of bad COVID.
3 minutes
Right.
remaining.
Thank you. So 7 years ago, I don't know what's your name, sir?
Mike.
Mike, I don't know. I can't comment on that, but for sure in the last 3 years, and it's again much smaller base. Mike, we are here right now in 2025, the same number in terms of where the industry was in 2020.
Okay.
So it's done this, and now it's back to where it's at. And next year we're going to see it's going to grow from 54 billion this year to roughly 70 billion next year. So that's at 16 billion over 54.
But I mean, in terms of,
Sure.
I'm sorry, in terms of the competitive landscape, I'm sorry, in terms of others that are doing what you're doing.
The competitive landscape has changed dramatically. Long gone are the days with big B2C platforms such as Trip, which is C-Trip out of China, by the way, are spending tens of millions of dollars a month marketing. So because it's changed, it's allowed entrants like us to really go and say, look, we don't want to do this, we want to do this. And what's driving this is the LCC market is undercapitalized. It's undercapitalized. So we can go in and really grab market share in that space. And we believe the hotel someone hasn't asked the question, but it's going to get 30 seconds to answer it. But the AI platform that we have now, we know if I know there's going to be an indicative spike in travel from such city to such city, I will then basically go to those hotels and buy it for X amount of days. And because the hotels are also undercapitalized, if you go outside of the Hiltons of the world, the Hyatts of the world, most boutique hotels are not doing very well. Okay, so we go in, we'll buy it up because we know where the demand's going to be coming in, and that's how we think our hotel business is going to jump next year.
With more than 6,000 small and micro-cap companies listed, if you're looking for the next Apple, then Channel Check truly is your trade. It's an investor community where you can access independent Wall Street research, advanced market data, balanced news, corporate videos, and podcasts. You can even register to attend in-person Meet the Management Series luncheons, and to be part of the preeminent annual Small and Microcap Investor Conference, NobleCon. And here's the best news. Since Channel Check is sponsored by the featured companies, premium membership requires no investment. It's absolutely free. So check it out. Log in today. Find out why Channel Check is North America's leading source of research on the companies that just may change the world.